well that I did. Hello, everyone. How y'all doing? You know, ladies and gentlemen, I did not change this. And maybe it's just as well that I did not change my little thing underneath here where it says 3. Because, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday's show, which did have a challenge. Oh, I didn't get that right. Which did have a challenge. I won't lie. There was some instances in which some expletives. Now, I do want to let you know the standard is if I let an expletive go, I drop the dreaded F-bomb on the show, which I'm really trying to avoid for personal reasons, nothing else. That is not considered a freak out. I could still sustain things, but if I do, I'll say no more than 3. If I do 2, and I do them in the same segment, that's it. We're done. That's a freak out. It might be a minor freak out, but it's a freak out. The last freak out was only a segment. Basically, a whole segment was shot. That whole segment, once I realized I lost the freak, I just unloaded. But the time before that, it was the entire show. Just so we understand the parameters. But I am now up to 4 shows. And ladies and gentlemen, there is a monumental event which threatens to declare itself immediately upon the end of the show. And God willing, I will remember before I click the end stream button to change it, because it's really important. I can't guarantee I'll remember it, though. But I'll try. We could hit number 5 today. And if we hit number 5, we will move from a tie for second place as far as the longest streak without freaking out at 4 into solo second place. And we could start gunning. We could start gunning for 21, ladies and gentlemen. We could start gunning for 21. And when I hit 21 and then I get to 22, then we're back in world record land. That's what we're working towards, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how well we do. Let's see if we can move into solo second place with this effort. That's what we're all about here, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm about. And I have some challenges ahead of me. But, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that I can get through this. I can get through this, ladies and gentlemen, with your help. And for you, the people, this is what we do. Now, we're about ready to strap into this affair. So I'm going to ask you to buckle up and be prepared to hear some things that, yeah, you're right. And then be prepared to hear some things that you're like, oh, man, dude, I didn't realize that you were a insert. I don't even know what word could I use to describe what I have in my head. Insert placeholder for the most hated group that you could think of here. There. You'll probably call me one of those things. One of those. And probably some form of very pejorative natured ways. And if you do, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not offended. And this is for you and also for me. It's also for me. Prepare yourselves. This is just a tease.
Warning, the material you're about to be exposed to is foreign to the minds of individuals who are limited in their capacity to understand the actual reality of power around them, just as you and everyone else alive currently are. What you're about to hear are opinions, suppositions, like gospel or scientific truths, not infallible certainties. Brace yourself for incoming opinions that could confirm or deny your preferential view of the reality of power. Brace yourself for fallible material, fallible opinions, and values reflected, but nonetheless variably firmly held. We do not apologize to anyone who fan. We do not apologize for daring to express our views and impressions of what we believe is and what we hope to see. We will keep talking so long as we are able.
And now, Frico attempts to talk about the news without freaking out.
Going to try something different here. In the beginning of the show, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our sites, our Newsalight, the sites where we get all of the links. I aggregate all these news link sites, and I want to show you. I'm going to go through the latest top links because some of these stories will make it into the show. Most of them, though, will not. So most of the links you see here, this is where some of the stories begin, but many of these stories don't make it here. So that's what we're going to do. For Newsalight, we're just going to hit a few of these. China's meat import suspension, a reminder of Beijing's ability to inflict economic pain. The argument against the new normal, Elon Musk and Alameda County may end feud over Tesla reopening. Trump Labor Department urges employers to report workers who stay home due to virus fears. That one has a high likelihood of being in a show in the very near future. Not today, though, but... Federal judge calls plea bargain deals that limit compassion release appallingly cruel. Let's see, we got pastors must speak pagan more in coronavirus era of online outreach ministry expert. Here's Obamacare. Here's some of their links. Some of these made him into consideration for future shows. Some of these did not. We have UN urges religious to fight harmful messages. With entrepreneurs freaking out after Facebook's drastic newsfeed change, here are 4 things you can do right now to survive. With commerce frozen, retail sales plunge unprecedented 8.7%. City releases first environment, social, and governance report. And then finally on the pioneering news, we get some of these. Let's see. Sofia Coppola to adopt Edith Wharton's The Custom of the Country for TV. I don't know how that got in. That's not a story I would pick. That's an error. That's an error. Okay, so these links here, I'm going to have to check this out. These are not the types of links that I would normally put at the top of the latest top links. But anyway, these links wouldn't even make it that. So these are some of the links that you could see down below. I'll just go to the features here. We got 1,000 plus experts from around the world call for degrowth after coronavirus pandemic. The future of artificial intelligence, edge intelligence. Z focus. Z stresses achieving moderately prosperous society in all respects. Now, when I go through these types of links, these are a lot of the stories that I will end up considering. I aggregate all these, send them on over here to Freako.com, not freaking out about the news for you, the people. And then from that, I produce. But I've been calling it a news song, and I'm going to call it the news art of the day, because I think of this as news art, and it's a multimedia. To some degree, it is multimedia. We have text, so you can print this stuff out. Multimedia news art. So I'm going to call this the news art. The title of this news art is "The Oroborosing of Your Mind Now with More Government Guarantees," and this is for Freako Talks the News on Wednesday, May 13th, 2020. And what are we going to be doing today? Will Israel shut down God's signal? Is OpenBazarr about to go Silk Road? That's our feature for today. Citadelians signal little tolerance for decentralized value exchange. That time we bored Tagish Lake for the secret to the explosion of life's forms. Diary entry. That's actually our news poem for the day. And we're going to end with our Dialectical, which is going to be today, rescuing local news with complete government dependence. Good plan, sir. Oh, howdy-ho. Oh, good plan. Who should we get to be the one to ensure that the people are getting the proper type of news? Well, Reginald, I've thought about this, and I've decided it should probably... It should be also lovely. Well, anyway, I'm sorry. I had to do that. I apologize to all of you comedians out there. I was not trying to actually do comedy. If I stumbled into it accidentally, I apologize. Every once in a while, I actually do stumble into comedy. I assure you it's not intentional. I'm just being me. Every once in a while, I'm fashionable. And if I am, I assure you it's purely coincidental. I do not align often with any of these circumstances. I just do me. Get the Freako Talks Daily delivered to your email at freako.com/daily, which takes us up to this part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're about ready to put our swangers on. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to switch to... Oh, I feel so stupid. This is gone. I'm going to remember this next time. Next time when we do this, you're going to see this. And also, I think... I don't know if I'll get to this. But if I don't get to it this week, on the weekend, I will go through the Newsalite site. And I will make these things a lot bigger so that you could see them if I'm going to do these latest top links. But I also might... Well, anyway, I got some thoughts. As we go along, as we go, yeah, and I miss the music background too. So, but as we go along, you'll see I'm gradually. If I had waited to have everything built and perfectly in place that I had envisioned, which even what I had envisioned initially, I couldn't exactly tell what that fully would be. So there's still some emergent developments of my understanding of what my alleged final product will be. But if I had waited, and just kept building, and I've already, I probably would have been another year or two before never mind. So I was like, no, you just gotta do this, and as you do it, you're gonna build this stuff and that's what I've been doing. So I'll be improving things, and I think I'm gonna try this the links thing out again, possibly tomorrow, and might have some different slight variation of it. We'll see. Let's get ready to record the first segment, though. That's what we're gonna do here. I'm gonna take a sip here. Now I do apologize. I do have the official water cup of Frico Talks the News right here, available, and it is intentionally not filled. I have filled this instead with pardon my sins, but I have I'll just say I require sugar intake at this present moment in time. It's not ideal, but under the circumstances, yeah. Sugar is death. Sugar and water is absolutely death. So I am ingesting a bit of death for the preservation of my alertness at this present moment in time. And that means I've picked the least offensive sugar death possible, which is ginger ale. So this is filled with ginger ale, and this cup keeps it cold. Alas, when I need coldness, Hello Kitty lets me down. In general, I actually prefer drinking water like the Chinese. I think I like now drinking it warmish, or not warm, but room temperature, basically. I don't generally like cold water unless I'm hot. I mean metaphorically. Well, I mean literally. Metaphorically, of course, the hotness goes without saying. I think my wife would... Never mind. I'm going to keep going. My wife does listen regularly to the show, so if you're listening to this segment... Well, no, she's not. She doesn't listen to the live stuff or the whole show. Darn it. She only listens to the segment when I record it. Darn it. All right, let's record that segment. But I'm not going to mention her. Unless I do. Maybe I will. We'll see. No big deal. We're going to move on, though, because at this point it's useless talking about it. She's not even going to hear this. So it doesn't matter. You'll just have to guess. Don't guess too... Well, never mind. I'm just going to go on. This is the talk headlines for Frico Talks the News on Wednesday, May 13th, 2020. I am Frico of Frico.com. Our top headline: will Israel shut down God's signal? I said, can I get a witness? Will Israel shut down God's signal? You know, I've got some things to say regarding the Christian fetishistic relationship with the state of Israel. But maybe I'm not ready to have that conversation. It's not necessarily part of the Frico. But this is just a little bit of a, hey, buddies, pay attention to what the state of Israel is fully. This is part of what the state of Israel is. How do I view the state of Israel from a framework of preference of consensuality? Rather poorly. Extremely poorly. I view the state of Israel as being corrupt. I view Benjamin Netanyahu as being just a Citadelian of the worst kind of any Citadelian I can imagine. I view its mandatory requirement for human beings to serve in the military as within my frameworks of preference, within my value system, subjectively speaking, but again, within a framework of preference of consensuality, as barbaric and inhuman. As for their relationship with the Palestinians, I don't really have much to say about that one way or another. I feel awful for the vast majority of the poors on all sides of that, who, again, I can assure the the Palestinian poors and the Jewish poors, that they have far more in common with one another than any of them have with any of the Citadelians that have been manipulating them into these necessary boxes of hate. Israel, the state of Israel, doesn't manifest hate in a violent form without the support of the Israeli people. And they're just part of a vehicle of power that, if you're born into it, dude, you just don't walk away from that. You're there. Most of us don't have much mobility in life. We can't just up and decide we're going to go, especially if we're born in a circumstance where, relatively speaking, we're still pretty comfortable. We still have good space to live good lives. Who wants to leave that? I wouldn't tell anyone to try to leave that. I don't care what anyone tells you. So, on the Palestinian side, you got a lot less people that are feeling they're significantly disadvantaged in that power structure. Let's just say, so they're even more dependent on the types of people that fill these voids. The psychopaths. They're led by psychopaths. The Jews in Israel are led by psychopaths, and the vast majority of human beings secretly would love their turn at being a psychopath. But if they could come to realize that that could never be, then maybe they would abandon the whole psychopath systems altogether, and they would find these pores. They would find they have far more in common with one another than they do with Hezbollah or Netanyahu or any political party or faction that any of these Palestinian pores and Jewish, Israeli, whatever pores find themselves born or circumstanced into, whatever the case might be. So here's the actual story. Israel threatened to shut down new evangelical God TV channel if it proselytizes. A new evangelical Christian television channel in Israel has been threatened with being shut down if it engages in any type of missionary activity, according to Israeli media reports. The Jewish Telegraphic Agency reports that the international television network God TV's new Hebrew-language channel, Shalanu, began airing last week on Israel's Hot cable network after receiving a 7-year license from the Israeli Communications Ministry. Dang. God TV CEO Ward Simpson announced the launch and declared that the network has been given government permission to broadcast the gospel of Jesus Christ in Israel, something he said he has never been done before. Proselytizing to people younger than 18 without their parents' consent is against the law in Israel. Unbelievable. According to the Israeli newspapers, see, that doesn't align with my consensuality. I don't want to live in a world that has laws that tell you can't proselytize to people younger than 18. Wow, what a weird way to... that's a weird type of... I don't mean this in a sexual way, but it is a type of fetishization of a whole class of individuals based upon... I understand in some regards, like when it comes to actual sexuality, I understand the practicality of deciding on an arbitrary number of 18. That's my number preferred when it comes to any type of that whole sexual consent stuff. I kind of understand that circumstance. But we're talking about human minds that you could not possibly not preach to these people. What you're really doing is preventing them from being preached the wrong message, not the state message. That's all this is. This is the state controlling. This is fascism, man. This is what this is. This is just fascism. They're controlling. This isn't about protecting children from children. People, listen, my daughter is only 15 years old, and I can assure you that my daughter, now she may not be like most 15-year-olds, but she's like far more 15-year-olds than people realize. She's very intelligent, I would say very intelligent, highly intelligent, well advanced for her age, but But even though she's well advanced for her age, there are a lot more 15-year-olds like her than people realize. These are 15-year-olds. It gets more when you're talking 16 and even more when you're talking 17. And this is an area that I'm absolutely against this fine line of definition as far as proselytizing to children. You would create a law like that. That is absolutely positively bonkers. It doesn't really matter to me what reason you give. That is, to me, when I say fascism, I mean in the adjectival definition of action kind of fascism that it's come to. Actually, most of us, I think, growing up, even I'd say anyone, even if you're in your 20s, most of us growing up, we heard that word fascist mostly applied in the adjectival general sense of fascist is just someone who's just a brute, just likes to use their big old brute to step on your neck and bully you around. And it's kind of that's one of the alternative ways that we use fascism. So I mean, in that sense, this is fascist. Now, as far as the exact political theory, whatever it's, I don't even know whatever its specific current definitions are. Is it Webster's, or which dictionary is the authority, or which, I don't know, or is it Wikipedia? Who do you use that defines fascism in the political theory terminology? I'm not saying strictly that this is. Maybe it is more inclined with that, but there's a lot more fascistic type of political structures, including right here in America, like in the political theory type of sense. Fascistic structures, but I'm not calling America fascistic, but we have plenty of fascistic structures in the marketplace as well as in the state, and Israel does as well. So the chairman of the Cable and Satellite Broadcasting Council, Asher Bitton, told the newspaper that he was unaware when the license was granted to Shalanu that the news channel planned to engage in activities that are prohibited under the terms of the license. So, snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, yeah, I slipped into Slim with that one. I can't believe I did that. Sorry. I was never an Eminem fan. I was a brief, hey, I like this. And then, oh, okay, never mind. But I don't hate on him. He's just another one of the poors. You see, he's still the poors. He's one of those examples of a millionaire that, oh, he has a lot more ability to move than you without fear of consequence, certainly. But he doesn't command the guarantees of protection from the invasion of the state or some collective decision by the market. He's not in those corners, so he's still one of us. He's still one of the poors. And he's just one of these folks that, I guess you could say, just like almost all of us, we see the legitimate struggles that are being ignored, and we see the hate and the anger on the other side. We see the faults, the easy to see, quote unquote, sins of the other side. And we have various reasons for why that is. I'm not going to get into that. And then we are told angels and demons. And then he finds, okay, well, it's angels and demons. I gotta pick one. So he picks one and he goes all in. And then he becomes part of the problem, just like whether he had chosen the Trump world or the whatever world you want to put him in. I don't even know. I don't even know the degree to which he has thought about political theory in any. I don't know. I haven't heard enough about him or for him to fully know. I don't know why I went off on that. You know what? I'm going to back off. We don't need that. Securing the non-quantums from the quantums through ADVA. Now, this is from BusinessWire.com. BusinessWire is like a PR. I think it's more like just like a PR thing. So this is a statement from ADVA, but I don't mind sharing these because I think it's interesting. Just something to put on the radar. Probably not going to say much more about this. Just to pay attention to some of the stuff that's going on out there. ADVA today announced that it is playing a key role in a unique research initiative extending post-quantum security to VPN networks, leveraging the ADVA FSP150 with ConnectGuard Ethernet encryption, the quantum secure VPN modules and operation modes, Quasimodo. Oh, I like that. See how they did that? But they Quasimodo. You know what? That was worthy. That is worthy. Hold on. That is worthy. I really like it. I'm loving it. I mean, I say subjectively that it is worthy, and I'm doing it. So there we go. There we go. We're gonna make you known, and we're gonna make you a little bit smaller. Quasimodo. I think we'll put you right here. Right. There we go. There we go. Quasimodo. Quasimodo. I love it. Love it. See, there you go. There you go. Quasimodo. Alrighty. Quasimodo project is testing new quantum resistance algorithms in the packet domain. It will develop viable security solutions that can protect Layer 2 and 3 data against all forms of cyber attack, including those from quantum computers. See, that's the key. Including those from quantum computers. That is the key. See, that's why I put this in here. Now, the degree to which this is or there is real wow. Well, reading this, I can tell you, based upon the Layer 2 and Layer 3 data referencing, that upon the inspection of present-day circumstances, it is not unfeasible for this particular company, given the research and development background of Assad Banar. I just made that name up. The PhD from MIT Great World Empire College, University, Division of Science and Tech, whatever long name thing you can come up with. That guy. Yeah, then absolutely this company could be legit. I have no idea. But it's worth noting. By participating in the initiative, ADVA is extending its industry-leading work with quantum-safe cryptography. Oh, now there you go. I'm sorry. Quasimodo, you don't even get to live long, because that is wonderful. That is wonderful phraseology right there. That is what you need. That's the kind of phraseology that I like to write. And I don't know if I ever pull it off, but I hope I do, because that is we're going to change this to white. Yeah, we're going to do that. I think we're going to do that. That's better. So, man, that's really short-lived for Quasi. You didn't even make it out of your own story. Sorry, Quasimodo. You got upstaged by your own story. That's sad. That looks lovely. I love that. That's beautiful. Right there. That is why I love language, because of the graphic element, and how much of the graphic element is contingent upon layers of contextualized identifications with certain types of words and groupings and stuff. Just stuff, man. It's just stuff. Be difficult even for the most sophisticated of AI machines, let alone a human, to understand. In its industry-leading work with quantum-safe cryptography and optical transport to higher network yields, other Quasimodo project partners are the Fraunhofer. I don't know how to read the rest of this. I don't really need to read the rest of this. Other than here, okay. All right. So this is Jörg Peter Elbers, advanced technology guy. So somebody from the ADVA guy says, together with our partners, we are ensuring that network security and technology doesn't fall behind in the computing power race. Our role in the project combines our experiences with transport layer post-quantum security. Oh, that's even better. That's beyond quantum safe security. Let's line this up correct. There we go. Post-quantum. Okay, post-quantum. All right, great. And our proven expertise when it comes to encrypting carrier Ethernet connectivity. Oh, I should have used that as one of my... oh, well. Oh, no, that's right. I didn't do that for this. Never mind. We're helping to create... I'm talking about keyword phrasing. I do keywording, tagging, only for the, not for all of the headlines, just for the top headline. Because of reasons. Never mind about that. And never mind. I gave you a little bit of a backdoor look into the process of how Freako Talks and News becomes what it becomes in all of its forms. And I've said too much. Back to the show. Well, this is the show, but back to the show. We're helping to create a solution able to protect packet services today and ready to be upgraded later to comply with emerging specifications from standard bodies such as the USA's National Institute of Standards and Technology. No, not doing it though. Thank you for not doing the whole thing. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not even going to say any kind of words. You know what I'm talking about. I visualized it. We're not doing that. We didn't do it. See that? Thank you. Who is this? Okay, no. Okay, Adva. Adva, they wrote this. So thank you, Adva. Thank you. Good job. You know. Way to choose one or the other, Adva. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm going to leave this up right now in honor of Adva. I was going to take this down, but I'm going to shorten you. There we go. Let's in honor of what Adva did in deference to my pet peeve that it preemptively prevented me from experiencing, thus assuring or at least helping to help us all achieve a world, well, not a world record, but move into second place as far as world records are concerned when it comes to freakouts. We're going to leave that up for you in honor of Adva. Here we go. Federal research investment, lowest since 2002. This is an excerpt from AEI.org. U.S. federal research spending is at a 60-year low. Should we be concerned? And honestly, I'm just going to get down to this last part here because this is all that really matters. And I just wanted you to note this. This is not one of these stories I really want to talk about much. Just take a note of this. Just plopping this out there. You just plop, we'll put a pin on it because we may talk about some things later. I'm not sure, but this is certainly something I'm looking at there. I'm looking at things every day. Every day I'm looking at things like this. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. That's weird. The Cleveland show. Never mind. In FY 2019, federal R&D spending equaled 0.6% of U.S. GDP and 2.8% of total federal outlays, the lowest in over 60 years. Just taking a note of that. I don't know how you feel about federal funding and state funding, and I say unless you reject the nation-state model altogether, which I do, then you have no reason to reject it. Well, I'll say you have little reason to reject some degree of federal. You'd be a foolish nation-state not to consider the reason why a nation-state would want to be the nation-state itself. By itself, I mean the IP it secretly creates optimally. It wants that, the internet property, the intellectual property it creates secretly. It wants to have a technical cutting edge when it comes to killing other human beings. So it has a vested interest in it has to invest in tech. And then there's other reasons for it that go well beyond that. So it's difficult to not make an argument if you support nation states in general. But if you don't support nation states, well, another conversation. Now, the conversation I like to have generally is the realistic one, which is within the framework of nation statism, which 99% of my neighbors are in. So I'd be an idiot to try to. I am willing to have discourses as far as my opinions as to what would, I guess you could say, give the nation state as much as what it needs without preventing us poors from having access to the tools that enable us to use tech for ourselves in the way that we choose, to give ourselves the options to live the lives of our choosing, to be stewards of our own lives. That would be the context. And I think I'm going to end this segment here. Coming up next is the talk feature, and that talk feature is OpenBazarr Bout to Go Silk Road? Oh, I never switched over to here. Oh, mine. I never did. I never did the head. You know what? I didn't do the headlines close up. I got to remember that. That's all right. That's all right. All right. Well, I'm going to rock it through here, and we're going to get right to the features intro. And in a moment, let me get a little sippy poo here. All right, we got our land up here. Let's get ready to... yeah. You know, I'm not, for now, I don't know that I want to do the... I'm going to be trying for a little while when I do this recordings not to do any promotions. I hope, even maybe today, to get some work done. I hope to create visual ads for the things that I want people to do eventually. Like, well, primarily I want you to sign up to my email list and send me money through my PayPal. That's it. That's all I want to really work on right now. So I'm thinking of creating visualizations here in these spaces where I want them, and different types of messages and whatnots, and just having those in the backgrounds, and maybe even create some ad kind of stuff and some scenes here and there, but just primarily rely on the visuals being there rather than having to go through all of that. I just don't enjoy doing it. So I see if I can get the necessary promotions, because I want to at least give myself an opportunity to make a living doing this. And I could. I think I could. Or I could at least get this to the situation where at least it's paying for itself, and it helps out another way. Helps out. But at any rate, I am going to try that, and we'll see how that goes. And even though I don't have those visuals in place, I'm going to do that for now, just because I just like it better anyway. It just, yeah. Alrighty. So, we're going to record this next segment in 3, 2, what? This is the Talk Frico for Frico Talks the News on Wednesday, May 13th, 2020. I'm Frico with Frico.com. And this is our Talk feature. Is OpenBazarr about to go Silk Road? No, 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 no! Sorry. I apologize for that. I think I blame myself, but mostly I blame society. Alrighty, here we are. We got ourselves some juicies here. Hey, what is going on here? Hold on, we got an issue. We do not have the right image in this. Oh, I just realized I didn't do this. So this is something, this will be cool as we go and do this segment, and, well, maybe the other ones I'll fix during the break if I can. Yeah. So here we go. I did not have the image replaced, so poop on a stick for that. Where are we at here? Where's our featured image at here? All right, where are you at, featured image? There you go. Okay, hold on. Holy moly, this thing big. This thing very, very big. Yes, you know, I message you on Facebook, you don't respond. I send you a picture of the cucumber that I grew in my yard last year. And I was very proud of it. I wanted to show you that I'm a man who is good with his hands. And then you block me on Facebook. What up with that? And then someone say you post something somewhere. You say, you complain about something. You say, you know, some dude, he sent me a picture of his. I'm just going to say that there may have been some sort of lack of penicillin at a strategic point in his life available to him based upon the color of the appendage that he sent me. That is inappropriate, and, well, I don't know why I said that. I was stalling for time while I arranged the image right, and in so doing, I gave you that story. Now, that's a story that you would see on the torrent. You get it for free, man. Get it on the torrent. You get my stuff for free. I'm torrent. I'm on the torrent, baby. You shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about here. How about this? How about we do? Is OpenBazarr about to go Silk Road? OpenBazarr is set to unveil the second iteration of itself. Cleverly called. You know what? Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. Every once in a while I do this. Every once in a while. You know what? I'm not putting that up I'm cutting that out. They don't need to see all of that before they get to their story. You got the live stream. You can expect stuff like that on the live stream. But listen, you can't generally expect that. When you're looking at the excerpt, people like a little bit more briefness on the excerpts here. So what I did is I stopped the recording, and now I've come back to it. And we're going to start this over again, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we get to start this story over again. How about that? How about we start this over again? So every once in a while this happens. That hasn't happened in over 2 weeks. So, hey, pretty good. No, I'm not going to track that one. 3, 2, 1. This is the talk feature for Frico Talks the News for Wednesday, May 13th, 2020. I am Frico with Frico.com. Today's top story is OpenBazarr about to go Silk Road. Signed Pointy S. OpenBazarr is set to unveil the second iteration of itself, cleverly called OpenBazarr 2, because, it's the second one. Yeah, no imagination, bruh. Despite the lack of imagination when it comes to naming the newest iteration of OpenBazarr, try Beta OpenBazarr or Revenge of the Open. Don't go down that line. Don't ever do a Revenge of the version. No, but it would be great for the LARPage alone. So, or the lulz, I should say. Well, there will probably be some LARPing opportunities as well. Lulzy LARPing, lulzing, whatever. So, hey, you know what? I'm for it. So, the new iteration promises a new feature that I am sure will please the consensual and stewarding type folks amongst us. It's called Tour Mode. Tour Mode. I like it. I think that it's worthy. Hold on. Let me switch this here. And guess what I'm going to do? Guess what I am going to do? You see, I think that warrants... This is it, ladies and gentlemen! Sorry, I got excited. You see, Mimblewimble has been up there. I don't know how many days in a row. I'm not trying to track all these things. Maybe somebody... If I start to build up an audience, maybe there'll start to be a statistician that can track all the patterns that I myself notice. So in this one, Mimblewimble has been with us for a few episodes in a row. And now Mimblewimble is gone because I am replacing Mimblewimble with Tour Mode. And I'm adding the exclamation point for the lulz. So we're going to put Tour Mode. Where are we going to put Tour Mode? You know what? I think I'm going to put Tour Mode right. Hold on. Keep looking, ladies and gentlemen. See that? Okay, that's not noticeable there. I don't like it there. You know what? I'm going to have to put it right here. I think that's appropriate. That is appropriate, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Now we'll see how long we keep Tour Mode up. All right, it's called Tour Mode, and I think we all know what that means, anonymous exchange. For now, they merely promise anonymous traveling on the interwebs, but they will also offer anonymous exchange arrangements, but not anonymous exchange itself. It's a significant step towards getting founder Brian Hoffman in some sort of legal trouble for something or another that could stop such an enterprise from fundamentally ending the monopoly on value exchange once and for all. Let's hope they unfold the open source shell version of whatever iteration of OpenBazarr offers full and complete value exchange between consenting humans, come what may, before the whole "Brian, it's your lawyer" call ever happens in the first place. And listen, I'm just being gentle there. I want it to be like, no, man, you know what? I ain't even trying to suggest anything other than a lawyer's call. But there's a lot of other things I could have suggested there that I chose not to because I'm a decent human being. And I want, above all else, I want Brian to thrive and be the hero that he's already been. And just be more of a hero and be safe in being that hero. That's what I want for Brian. I want OpenBazarr to offer me. Well, I want it to be one option. I want it to be one option for me. OpenBazarr to offer me the ability to exchange value with another human being. Who is it? Oh man, what was his name? Mitch Headboom or? Oh man, I feel bad. What's his name? Mitch Hedberg. Mitch Hedberg. I'm going to put paper exchange. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Ready? Ready? You know what? I'm going to risk something here. All right, let's do this. Hold on. Hold on. Let's just set this up. And let's see if we get this, because this is worth it. This is like, this pretty much really summarizes everything that we're talking about here. So we're going to go back to, let's go here. Okay, we're going to use this window. I know it says stream starting, so you can bite the brain, the proverbial brain. You see the logo, by the way. The logo is an Oroborosing around the brain with a guaranteed 30-day money-back guaranteed stamp over top of it. I'm very proud of it. I created that myself. Amalgamation. That's a collage. I tell you, I'm arting the news for you kids. This is just part of it. This is totally fair use, so don't be hitting me, Mitch. Mitch is no longer with us, but by Mitch I mean whatever entity controls Mitch's brain now, such as it exists, which is the IP that Mitch left behind.
They gave me a receipt for the donut. I don't need a receipt for a donut. I'll just give you the money. You give me the donut. And the transaction. We don't need to bring ink and paper into this.
See, that's it. That's it right there. That's it.
I just cannot imagine a scenario where I would have to prove that I bought a donut.
That's a good point.
Skeptical friend, don't even act like I didn't get that donut. I got the documentation right here.
I got the receipts. This was way before I got the receipts became a thing.
Oh wait, it's back home in the file under D for donut.
Yeah.
We all know what D is.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, my man, not my friend. My friend. My friend. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I am talking about right there. That, in point of fact, is where we're at with this. So, we'll continue here. This is the excerpt from Wired.com. The Fed-proof online market OpenBazarr is going anonymous in May. OpenBazarr's developers plan to launch OpenBazarr 2, which revamps the peer-to-peer communication protocol that allows users to make purchases and list items for sale online without the hosting any data on a central server. The new version will also integrate the anonymity software, Tor, designed to allow anyone to browse the market's network anonymously or list items for sale from an untraceable location. The result? OpenBazarr's founder Brian Hoffman hopes will be renewed interest from those seeking private, uncensorable online trade. But Hoffman admits the move could also cement the last building block necessary to make his creation a haven for black market commerce. Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. It might even turn the OpenBazarr network into a decentralized, harder-to-control upgrade to dark web markets like the Silk Road, which have served as online trading posts for contraband like drugs, guns, and stolen data. All of the things that happen with currencies to... Oh, hold on. Never mind that stuff I said about... Right. Yeah, no one ever does anything bad with fiat currencies, so everything's fine. Fiat currencies don't create their own opportunities for thugging. Not at all. We're good. They're evil. All right, all right. Bold move. Let's see how that works out for him. In fact, a prototype of OpenBazarr 2 already includes the ability to switch to a Tor mode, Hoffman says. A prototype, not one which is in my hands. I'm not an OpenBazarr, so it wouldn't be. I don't do anything. I'm terrible. I go to Walmart. I go to Walmart every day just to support Walmart. No, I don't do that. But I do shop at Walmart. I'd love to change it, and I'll be working on changing all kinds of stuff. But at any rate. But that unfinished version of the software for now only allows browsing, not purchases, and requires controlling the app from the command line. When the new version officially launches in May, however, it will incorporate the Tor mode. You know what? That needs it. You need to get bigger. You need to get bigger, bigger, bigger. You know what? It needs to be so big that it's off the page. You need the explanation, but you need this. This needs to be a little bit. There we go. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Well, a little bit more here. There we go. There we go. There. You're so big, it's off the page. That's better. See how this is the news art part, ladies and gentlemen. I'm walking you through this. Trying to explain why he does what he does, but not really. Everything is part of everything. Ooh, deep. Real deep there, real deep. Anyone will be able to switch it on to bounce their traffic through volunteer computers around the world, obscuring their identity. And now that is good they say obscuring, because there's nothing out there that offers you complete anonymity. You're always traceable. And if you do something that's bad enough from the Citadelians' perspective, then they'll find you. You won't be protected by this thing. But they can't apply that highest level of service to every potential offender if there's tons and tons of people offending, quote-unquote offending, from their very narrow Citadelian self-serving perspective, which is self-serving is fine, but it's not fine when the self-serving is in the hands of a few people and you keep thinking that will ever change. But I digress. And the Tor settings will also make visible any sellers who choose to offer their goods only over Tor to prevent anyone snooping on the network's traffic from tracing them. Mm-hmm. Oh, look at that. Look. Oh, that's a promotion. I should say something. I don't know. I'm thinking about whether I should speak these or things or just leave them there. You know what? I'm just going to leave it at that. That's all I got. That's I think that's how we're going to end this feature. Coming up next is our talk focus, and our top focus is Citadelian signal little tolerance for decentralized value exchanges. And all right. Yeah, I don't know how often I'm going to... Oh, I got to remember this. To switch over... I'm going to... Okay, now, if you're new here, folks, you see this little thing here that says Tor mode? That stays. Tor mode stays up until the next segment. So when I start the next segment, since I have a text up, that will be available. And if it fits the story tomorrow, I'll leave it there. I think it's a great phrase. We'll see how long it lasts, if it has any legs. Alrighty then. We're going to get to the focus part of our show. Let's get to the focus part of our show. Alrighty then. It'll get to the focus. We'll get to the focus. We'll get to the focus part. Trust us. We'll get to the focus. Okay, we're going to literally get to the focus now. In 3, 2, 1. This is the Talk Focus for Frico Talks News on Wednesday, May 13th, 2020. I am Frico with Frico.com. Citadelian signal little tolerance for decentralized value exchanges. That's what we're looking at, folks. Can you imagine that? Somebody wants decentralized value exchanges. Oh, I wonder if we had a story not too long ago related to this. Huh? 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 You want a little bit of secure value exchange network? And you want it to be anonymous? And you don't want the government involved? It's kind of like that. And then along comes Charlie and says, "Hold on, everybody, hold on. Hold on, everybody. I got reason. Yay, I got reason. This is U.S. Treasury Secretary Lawrence Summers, who essentially is like, everybody, listen, everybody, hold on. I'm going to give you the should I give you the emotional version of this story, the allegedly colorful version of the story, or should I give you the prosaic version that I have written out for you and that I am sharing with you as well in the form of the excerpt? It's basically this is Larry has come along. Listen, everybody, I know fiat currency, not a lot of responsibility going on here. We're just making crap up at this point. $6 trillion, boom, mother. You know it, baby. You know it, baby. 6 trillion. You know it. I don't know how many budgets that is for how many countries. That's a lot, though. That's a lot. There's like more than 50, probably. More than 50. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. We could do that. We just do. Listen, you got nothing to worry about. I know y'all looking in this, saying, like, when we look at this digital stuff we can do over here, we can just sort of like, I got more on that later. I won't get into that. But we can just sort of, use that and like, build up value in utility or some other, not this. Oh no. Are you kidding me? If you want this system that you can rely on, because we can print $6 trillion, well, you're going to have to concede a few points like logic and reason and really your own self-interest. Because if you don't, you are going to be murdered in your sleep. You'll be murdered in your sleep by criminals, by pot fiends. Pot fiends will murder you in your sleep to steal your guns and melt them down, to turn them into cryptocurrencies that they use to buy bootlegged intellectual property on the dark web. All of our secrets will be out, and they'll know everything, and we won't be able to tell who they are. There you go. That's the emotional version of this. I don't know if you wanted the emotional version, but I felt like giving it to you there. This is my way of not losing the streak. I'm doing my best here. This is not a freak out. This is an emotional cry for help. That's what this is. I'm crying out to Larry to stop. Just stop it, Larry. The jig is up. The jig is up. A low-level face of Citadelian power, former U.S. Treasury Secretary Lawrence Summers, is making the rounds to the usuals that boost signals. The media's with a narrative that threatens doom and gloom on all law-abiding Americans should currencies and value exchanges continue to be so private, as in outside the cut of the state, or outside the prying eyes of the corpos of the store of the state, or both. The further emergence of the capacity of humans to create and share exchange privately is a reverse Pandora's box for we poors, but a truly Pandora's box for Summers and his Citadelian masters. And that's really putting it politely, ladies and gentlemen. Here's an excerpt from CoinDesk. The problem with money is too much privacy, says U.S. Treasury ex-U.S. Treasury Secretary Larry. This is Larry. Just Larry. We're just going to call him Larry. Screw all this whole former U.S. Treasury Secretary Lawrence Summers. No. Let me tell you who you are. Tell you who you are, little man. Little man, whatever you think you are. I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. You know who you are? I'm going to tell you who you are in a second here. Hold on. Ready? There you go. Larry. You're just Larry. Listen, Larry's a good, noble name in and of itself, but Larry's just Larry. You're just Larry. Larry! What Larry says. You're just some guy. Don't really care about this part of your life at all. This doesn't give you standing. This gives you anti-standing for someone like me, for most people at this point. Because you just... See how I'm holding things together there, folks. I'm managing. Because at the end of the day, I remember, you know what? That works in a lot of ways. Not just that he's just Larry, but he's Larry. He's a human being. He's blood and bone. I wish Larry well. I wish that he would reform his evil, wicked ways and stop murdering his fellow neighbors. But I wish him well. And if he repents and he turns away from his evil, wicked ways of murdering his neighbors, then I fully support him being able to live a life that he is able to live within the confines of a new reality in which Larry and his Citadelian masters don't have the significant advantage anymore in any of the four markets of influence: the ideational, the demonstrable, the social, and above all else, the force. That's what I'm talking about, Larry. Talking about a new universe in which, as irrelevant as your opinions and thoughts, because you have no opinions, you only have narratives, as irrelevant as the narratives that you've going out into the universe to spin are, well, they're not completely irrelevant. They do have they tell you a lot about the strategies that you folks are going to be using to try to convince we poors that we should hold on with a death grip to this massive, large-scale system that at this point mostly only benefits the Citadelians and their petty little vassal trolls like Larry. I love you, Larry. I do. I want you to do well. But I want you to do well in a new universe. I forgive you. I forgive everyone. We don't know. We really don't know. We grow into our vehicles of power, and I just don't begrudge people who, even after they realize they're in one, it's just difficult to walk away. So, I forgive Larry. I just want Larry to get help. I just want Larry to stop serving masters that will never invite him in. Larry, you're not one of them. You're not one of them, Larry. You're just a little trolley-bolly. And all these checks that you've been writing, when it comes due, it's not going to be them that pay. It'll be you. It'll be people like you. It'll be the vassals, the faces that we know. It'll be what happened in the Peasants' Revolt of 1381. It wasn't the king that was beheaded. It was his aides. It was his, I can't remember their names, but it was his two main aides, and this is King Richard, I believe the second. It was his two aides that were killed. The two primary faces of his policies. We're talking about a boy, though. He's like 13 years old, but still, it wouldn't matter if it was an adult king. It would have been the same thing. They got their heads, but their heads were from it's the vassals' heads that are removed, Larry. And I'm not talking about literal. I don't believe that we're going to get into head removals in America. I don't believe that we're going to have a civil war. I'm talking about metaphorical. You're going to have your metaphorical head removed in the sense that, Larry, you'll have no real power in America, and the Citadelians won't give a crap about you, and they won't continue to fund your lifestyle. That'll come to an end. They won't even care. They're protected. You're not. So that's what I'm talking about. Larry, you'd be one of those faces because you've been out there. You were a big part of this. You're one of the vassals that is part of one of the most essential parts that enabled the Citadelians to have their way with the rest of us, so to speak. And when this is the way human history is when we are in these coercive enterprise governance models. Nation statism is just one variation. There's other variations. They're not all nation states. Never mind. Never mind. All right, so Larry, or who is this? Larry? Yes, Larry. Larry. I think the problem we have now with money involves too much privacy. In a world of inordinate tax evasion, trillions of dollars of laundered money around corruption and the drug trade. He says as he drinks his freaking cup of coffee every day. Total drug addiction. I don't know why you think coffee is somehow less than any other drug, but in America it is. I'd be willing to bet if you're like most Americans. No, you might not be, but I'm sure I'll find the drug use in your life. That's why I love that song by Missio, which I cannot play. That would really be bad, and it's a shame. Missio, you need to release the IPs. Release the IPs. Well, everybody does drugs. Your mama does drugs. Your daddy does drugs. Everybody does drugs. I can't get enough. Yeah. Bad drugs. I think that's the name of it. Bad drugs. I could be. Rad drugs. Rad drugs. Listen, man, this is a druggy culture. It really is. So I laugh when people say this crap. The holy sanctimonious righteousness that human beings have regarding drug use in general. When everybody uses drugs. Almost everybody. There's very few human beings that can say they're not addicted to a drug right now in America. Sugar is a drug, trust me. It's a drug, and I'm addicted to it, I'll tell you that. Look, I'm using sugar right now in a way that I would rather have other solutions to. And sugar is helping me deal with a problem that sugar really helped create. So there you go. That's drug addiction right there. That's drug addiction. The last objective of government policy should be the promotion of, you got that right, the last objective of government policy should be the promotion of anonymity. That is holy gospel truth. And that's the problem. And when I say government, I'm talking specifically what I know Larry has in his head, which is most assuredly some variation of a coercive enterprise governance model, probably one that's extremely on the high end of authoritarian type of scale. The last objective of government policy should be the promotion of anonymity. See, you don't even need this last part he has. With respect to large financial transactions. Don't even need that, Larry. We get it. We get it. It's what I preach. This is the holy of holies when it comes to what government throughout human history has always sought to avoid. The ability of individuals to act, especially in a value exchange, with anonymity. Government is all about tracking and knowing the value that's going on and assuring that it gets its cut, what it deems to be its cut. That's the nature of coercive enterprise governance models. So it is the last frontier between them and anarchy. Now, I'm going to support that anarchy is a good thing, but I know 99% of you disagree with me with that. But I don't know if we can ever really achieve anonymity, but we can come close to a high level of anonymity. And I have more to say about this later. And some of it is within the framework allowing for the continued existence, of course, of enterprise governance models, because I don't think that's going to end anytime soon, probably not in my lifetime. So within the framework of the coercive enterprise governance model, I have an idea that we'll get to after the break. All right, I think that I'm not going to read any more of his little ploopity-boopity going on. Never mind. You can go and read the little garbage that spewed out of that little boy's mouth. And he's a little boy. He's the child speaking. He's a child who imagines that he's the only adult speaking to children. In his mind, there is he, and then there is the millions of others who are so beneath what he knows. He doesn't necessarily believe that he's the smartest, just that he has access to the special knowledge, the behind the scenes that gives him the privilege of knowing things that human beings they couldn't possibly understand or fathom because they can't have access to what he has. And he speaks to them and of them like they are children. Literally, you are children. The government, a government that doesn't trust you to have the choice. It's what, the government, you don't have to, if you provide a good service and your value exchange is the fiat, and that's how they have to exchange. They'll convert their anonymous exchange to fiat and they'll exchange with you. And if you don't, and they can get the service other ways, well, then that's on you. You deserve whatever happens. And in this case, I'm only say that because that route is a peaceful end. Very, very peaceful at the end, I would prefer. And as a matter of fact, I don't think a violent end to the government or the state is really ever going to bring about peace on the land. It's just going to create the next opportunity for the next figurehead psychopath and the same Citadelian families. Maybe they'll lose 25% of them, and they'll let another, maybe they'll lose 25% of them, and maybe they'll let 2 or 3 new people in from the new revolution. But other than that, that's about the only change that you'll see. That's what'll happen. That's what'll happen. So unless and until you can change a state, you can change the condition of the humans that live in a land from dependence on these large-scale systems to dependence on small-scale localized systems. You're never going to do anything but push dirt around for the next killer. Cheetahs make soft bots better. The natural emergence of the mechanisms that make cheetah speeds possible is significantly better understood than ever before at granular structural levels. This knowledge has been transferred to the world of robotics, where the same types of patterns that make cheetah speed possible can be applied to build structures that allow soft robots to move and change shape more than 3 times faster than the non-cheetah mechanisms fastest soft robots can create. This is an excerpt from ScienceDaily.com. Inspired by cheetahs, researchers build fastest soft robots yet. Science Daily. Inspired by the biomechanics of cheetahs, researchers have developed a new type of soft robot that is capable of moving more quickly on solid surfaces in the water than previous generations of soft robots. The new soft robotics are also capable of grabbing objects delicately or with sufficient strength to lift heavy objects. Cheetahs are fastest creatures on land, and they derive their speed and power from the flexing of their spines, says Ji-Yin. I don't know why. I always do Southern voices for everyone. Everybody ends up being Southern, even Ji-Lin. Sorry, Ji-Yin. All right, do I leave Larry here? Sorry, Larry, I got to take you off. I'm sorry. Larry, you understand. You didn't even make it out of here. Larry, but you weren't. I knew you were destined not to make it out of there. I didn't think you'd last long. Larry did not last long. We were inspired by the cheetah to create a type of soft robot that has a spring-powered, bistable spine. Wow, bistable. I don't know that word. That is a great word. Bistable. I want that word. I want bistable. Bistable. Hold on, ready?
Bistable. Bistable.
Oh, bistable. Oh, that's all. Man, I like my version better.
Bistable.
Bistable. Listen.
Bistable.
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 Bistable. Screw you. I say we're going to make it bistable. An electronic circuit which has 2 stable states. I don't care. We're going with bistable. All right, there you go. Watch, I'll show you my obstinance in the face of authority. We were inspired by the cheetah to create a certain type of soft robot that has a spring-powered bistable spine, meaning that the robot has 2 stable states, Yin says. We could switch between these stable states rapidly by pumping air into channels that line the soft silicon robot. Switching between the 2 states releases a significant amount of energy, allowing the robot to quickly exert force against the ground. This enables the robot to gallop across the surface, meaning that its feet leave the ground. So I'll just get to here to the end here. The new class of soft robots, which are called leveraging elastic instabilities for amplified performance. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Leveraging elastic instabilities for amplified performance are able to reach speeds of up to 2.7 body lengths per second, more than 3 times faster. More than 3 times faster at a low actuation frequency of about 3 hertz. I think that's what that means, hertz. These new robots are also capable of running up steep inclines, which can be challenging or impossible for soft robots that exert less force against the ground. These galloping, leveraging elastic instabilities for amplitude performance robots. Okay, I'm just going to call you... I'm going to call you levelins. Yeah, so it's going to be L ends, but I'm not typing you out. You're not worthy because you're only going to live for a brief moment. Okay, these galloping levelin robots are approximately 7 centimeters long and weigh about 45 grams. The researchers also demonstrated that the levelin design could improve swimming speed for soft robotics. I know, I'm cheating. Shut up. Just keep going. I refuse. Attaching a fin rather than feet, a levelin robot. I know I'm cheating, and just go with it. Was able to swim at a speed of 0.78 body lengths per second as compared to 0.7 body lengths per second for the previous fastest swimming robot. Just so you know. And I know this is see, if I had seen this first, I would have went with this. And it would have been so much easier for once I committed, I read this first before I saw this. So once I read this, I couldn't go to this. But I couldn't repeat all this. So I did what I did. I made it level it. Please forgive me. It's the best I could do. It's a compromise. It's a compromise. And that's how I'm going to end this segment. I'm not even going to tell you about the news poem. Of course I'm going to tell you about the news poem. I want you to watch the next segment. The next segment, by the way, is the news poem. And that time we board Tagish Lake for the secret to the explosion of life's forms. It's a diary entry. Well, it's a fictional diary entry, so it's kind of like a news poem, sci-fi news poem. Yeah. You just stick around for that. Whoo-wee! Oh, man. That is some good stuff there, dude. That is some good stuff. Alrighty. That is way too loud. I am not in the mood for you, and also... Here we go. This is where I meant to be. I shouldn't have been there. I should have been here getting ready for the show. So we're about ready to get ready for the show. I'm going to take a break here. We're at the halfway. We're actually more than the halfway point because we only have 2 segments. Well, we have technically 3, but the one is going to be very, very, very short. And that is going to be, I'm going to call it my Frico's Ponders, which I will not regularly have. I'll have it whenever I have a brief little thought that I want to share. I do want to say, though, that this ponder is going to probably end up being, well, it's a contender to be a dialectical because I may go into more detail with it down the road, but probably a Monday dialectical type deal. At any rate, we're going to go to break. I got to do my innie outie regarding the liquid satisfaction and well, I guess I could say the execution of the writ of get the heck out of my body that's about ready to occur with some of the liquid. That's primarily what this is all about, ladies and gentlemen. So I have intruded on you for far too long, but with that in mind, I intend on doing it further. So I will see you in a few minutes.
Love overwhelmed me. 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 Love overwhelmed me.
Ha ha. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, there are monumental affairs which are being constructed even as we speak right now that could set the whole universe off into a coil of misappropriations within. All of it is centered around my ability to transcend self and deliver to you the news, to talk the news to you in such a way that I do not freak out, and yet I share candidly with you the truth of the circumstance for which we are in, within the context of the reality of power such as I understand it. That's the show. That's the underlying, the sitcom scenario underlying the show. It's not the central theme. It's the central tension. And it's authentic. I can assure you it is authentic. And it is how I maintain this show for you, the people. But with that in mind, remember that I am a human being. And as such, I am most likely going to say things that you as a human being will not only disagree with, but find outright offensive. And for this, I give you this.
Warning, the material about to be exposed to is foreign to the minds of individuals who are limited in their capacity to understand the actual reality of power around them, just as you and everyone else alive currently are. What you're about to hear are opinions, suppositions, like gospel or scientific truths, not infallible certainties. Brace yourself for incoming opinions that could confirm or deny your preferential view of the reality of power. Brace yourself for fallible material, fallible opinions, and values reflected, but nonetheless variably firmly held. We do not apologize to anyone we offend. We do not apologize for daring to express our views and impressions of what we believe is and what we hope to see. We will keep talking so long as we are able.
And now, Frico attempts to talk about the news without freaking out.
Hey, that's the general plan, ladies and gentlemen. What we have going on here is a general plan to not freak out. And we are at 4 shows, and we're looking to make it 5. But I've already given you my emotional, heartfelt plea as far as that is returned. And I say that because, not because of this next story. This next story is not going to be a challenge to me at all. This is the news poem. The Dialectical, however, there may be some circumstance within which I find myself confabulated by the circumstance in such a way that I may present to you a visceral response which could be classified as being a freak out. So I'm a little bit trepidatious as I go forward, but not for this segment, ladies and gentlemen. Nope. Listen, this is how it works, ladies and gentlemen. Frico.com is the site where I gather all of the news links from. Newsalite.com, the glitz, the odd, the under the radar, the hard to believe news at a glance from Obamacare.tv. Free market social engineering for the masses, don't you know? And then pioneering news, tech, science, underground news links, and all of these stories. The most important story that I select, in my humble opinion, within my framework of preference, no doubt, is this right here, the news poem. And I bring you through, as I sweep through what we've already discussed, to deliver to you our news poem today. And the title of the news poem is, drumroll, ladies and gentlemen, well, that time oh man, I did not record this. Well, I'm not going to record the promotion, but this is that time we bore Tagish Lake for the secret to the explosion of life's forms. But I didn't start recording the segment yet, so I'm going to put myself right here. And I think, okay, I'm going to do this again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. I'm doing this promotion again. I'm going to start right here. Yeah, that's where I'm going to start. And we're going to do this in, hold on. Nope. Wrong place, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's punch this puppy in the head. Let's make this happen. That was wrong. It's just an expression. I would never hit a puppy. I love dogs. If anybody hit a puppy, I would probably hit them. But metaphorically, it's awesome. 3, 2, 1. This is a news poem for Frico Talks the News on Wednesday, May 13th, 2020. I am Frico with Frico.com. And let me tell you a little bit about this news poem. We get this news poem when we look at links that we come from newsalike.com, the glitz, the odd, the under the radar, the hard to believe news at a glance. I'm going over to Obamacare.tv, free market social engineering for the masses, and finally pioneeringnews.com for tech, science, underground news links, and we select the most important story that I select for the day, and we send it to Frico.com. And in Frico.com, ladies and gentlemen, we have selected our news poem for the day, the title of which is, ladies and gentlemen, for the drum roll. That time we bored Tagish Lake for the secret to the explosion of life's forms. Diary entry. For this news poem, I had a little fun with imagining the day the ice bore was made that led to the discovery the news part of our news poem discusses below. And I can assure you, without revealing any news poem spoilers, no individuals bear any resemblance to the poem that follows after the news. None. Just saying. News first, poem follows. Here's an excerpt from ScienceDaily.com. The oldest molecular fluids in the solar system could have supported the rapid formation and evolution of the building blocks of life. From Science Daily. The oldest molecular fluids in the solar system could have supported the rapid formation and evolution of the building blocks of life, hence the title. New research in the... I'm going to get better at catching that. New research in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences reveals an international group of scientists led by researchers from the Royal Ontario Museum and co-authors from McMaster University and York University used state-of-the-art techniques to map individual atoms and minerals formed in fluids on an asteroid over 4.5 billion years ago. Studying the ROM's iconic Tagish Lake meteorite, scientists used atom probe tomography, a technique capable of imaging atoms in 3D, to target molecules along boundaries and pores between magnetic grains that likely formed on the asteroid's crust. There, they discovered water precipitates left in the grain boundaries on which they conducted the groundbreaking research. We know water was abundant in the early solar system, explains lead author Dr. Lee White, Hatch postdoctoral fellow at Royal Ontario Museum. But there is very little direct evidence of the chemistry or acidity of these liquids, even though they would have been critical to the early formation and evolution of amino acids and eventually microbial life. This new atomic scale research provides the first evidence of the sodium-rich and alkaline fluids in which the magnetic framboids formed. Oh my gosh, magnetite framboids? Did we just become best friends? I think we just became best friends, buddy. Hold on, let me go here. Here we go. Hold on, I gotta do this. Hold on. I love you. This is a beautiful thing, although I do not like this look for this that I have in right now, and I'm going to fix that. I'm going to make you you know what? I'm going to make you like a soft gray. Yeah, make you a soft gray. And I'll keep the white in that context. There you go. And then let's just do that right here. And we'll just, I think we'll just politely decipher this into the corner. So right, there we go. We'll just leave that right there. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is just beautiful. Magnetite framboids. I don't even have this in the poem. I missed that. That should have been in the magnetite. That should have been in the news poem. I'm going to leave it there. It's kind of kind of a reminder of my fragility and my humanity and my fallibility. These fluid conditions are preferential for the synthesis of amino acids, opening the door for microbial life to form as early as 4.5 billion years ago. That really explains a lot of things, especially if you're looking at the that period of time. What was it? Oh, wow, I can't remember. The Precambrian, whatever that thing is called. That explosion of life. I have my own theories about how you could see so many radical forms of life appear at such a short period of time that you might on the surface say, oh well, things couldn't change that fast for all these fundamentally different structures to take place. Well, maybe there is an explanation. Maybe this in part explains some of that. The Tagish Lake carbonaceous chondrite was retrieved from an ice sheet in BC's Tagish Lake in 2000 and later acquired by the Royal Ontario Museum, where it is now considered to be one of the museum's iconic objects. I guess so. This history means that the sample used by the team has never been above room temperature exposed to liquid water, allowing the scientists to confidently link the measured fluids to the parent asteroid. The way that I do my news poems is another thing. Wow, how do I miss this? This is just beautiful. This is poetry right in of itself. Never been above room temperature exposed to liquid water, allowing the scientists to confidently link the measured fluid to the parent asteroid. That should have been part of... Sometimes I like to do what is kind of like a found poetry kind of homage, where I will take a part from the story, a clip, and just put it in there and leave it as is to be. Nope, this is not poetry. It's kind of Dadaistic kind of... This is... Never mind. Armut. You know what I'm talking about. Never mind. Let's get to the poem. And I'm going to leave this up here as the teaser. Magnetite framboids. Not in the poem. Not even in the poem. Just so you know, that's what I oh no, you know what I do have going on here though. This is one thing that I did neglect to do, and that is change the images. You see that guy back there? That's Hobbes. That was from yesterday's news poem. Well, we're going to fix Hobbes. See, this is part of the show, too. The mistakes are part of the show. I actually kind of like them. I do. I know it's weird. I'm just playing it off. I'm making this seem like I did this on purpose. I meant to do that! Ha ha! Now we've got ourselves... Yeah, you can hardly see that. Oh, what's going on there? What's going on? Where are you at? Why can't I see you? News poem image. Did I not get this right? Huh. It's not showing anything. Let me just try this again. What's up with you? What is up with you? I got something going on that isn't supposed to be going on. Let's oh, here we go. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I fixed it. We're all good. You see, that's how you do it. It was worth that, just so that I can have this part of the news poem look like it's... See, that's so much nice. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. See, that's the actual lake, by the way. At least it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. Allegedly. I mean, I'm sure that somebody in Tagish Lake is like, that's not Tagish Lake. Yeah, ain't nothing like that. Ain't no talking like that. Outside of somebody telling me that. And when I get a big enough audience, and I'm going to soon, because I'm only the 6th week into the 12-week plan to be the greatest podcaster of all time. By the 8th week, I will have gotten to the level where I can realistically say, as far as my ability to do a podcast, that'll be true. But it'll take me another 4 weeks, because I'm realistic. That time we board Tagish Lake for the secret to the explosion of life's forms. Diary entry. Tagish Lake, the ice. The cover of ice in a veil of space alien sheen. My mind reacts to the slip. Imagine the struggle to bore the core through. Panoply of white on broken rock plumes, or so they appear in a host of blank. Carbonaceous. The mystery fell upwards, not downwards. The acid formed in the core of the light. A frenetic hold on the cold. Tagish Lake was frozen over. The medic arrived to tend to the borer, who had passed out again from the loss of sight in a sea of white. As if the land did not wish to let hold the space alien living under the ice. But you had to ruin the whole affair. The boar struggles through, proceeding, microbial life, burgeoning. The net echoes in the potential designs, microbial. A sort of foundry fecund with the acid's forms that gave burden its design. Take on the energy. Need it. That was the slip in the potential before the addition of need. The need. The ice broke up afterwards. Strange note. The spring and summer days were unseasonably warm that year. As if to taunt the apprehension of the find, I found nothing I wanted to say. I handed it over, and the medic let me know the boar had died. He died. The borer died. Another flow. The amino acids spill out of his gaping mouth as he uttered these last words. The sea is buried with the explosions of design beneath lava and ice. Let us out of our loads, and we will teach you how to make the many deviations viable in a new bed of genetic exchange. We nodded, knowingly, and returned the core to the proper authorities, washing our hands of the whole affair. Hoo-wee. Hold on 1 second here. Let me see if I got. What do we got here? I need a window here. I gotta create some more stuff here. Let me see if I got close up here. No, I don't want that. Oh, no. Alrighty. Let me find a... Okay, so I want to do a brief segment here, and I want to see if I can... Why don't I just use this? Here we go. Micro value exchange. Okay. Alright, this is a brief little thing that I'm recording here. This is a little Freako Ponder. So if I have a little thought, I might do something like this, interject this into the show. So this is not a regular feature. So sometimes I'll have it, sometimes I will. Today I do. I'm going to record it. Micro-valuing exchange overcoming value exchange monopolies. Value exchange as a single prevailing entity in any geographical circumstance could be relegated to exchange between agents who have no other smaller scale localized value exchanges to utilize in this particular exchange, or one or more of these agents representing a structure, market, or state that potentially serves the entire geographical circumstance. Microcurrencies could allow for greater levels of localized preservation of value the community as a whole preserves. The more we exchange value primarily with individuals in close proximity and or close ideational, demonstrable, or social circumstance, the more our particular communities, be it barbers or Muslims, will sustain their own capacity to be stewards of their own lives, circumstances, and aggregate wholes. That's the general idea that I'm just calling micro value exchange. It's a micro value exchange. So the general notion is that there will be strata of value exchanges, some of them extremely small. I could envision having value exchanges as small as two people, a husband and a wife, could have their own form of digital currency between each other in which they could each compensate each other. And there could be some measure where there is some way in which other currencies might have value that you could actually exchange it, and well, there's stuff that can happen. It's a whole other type of universe that could have the decentralization of value exchange itself. This isn't to say that you won't have large-scale exchange systems still. It's just that those large-scale exchange systems will only serve in circumstances in which the value exchanges necessarily involve the large-scale exchange for these particular entities to interact. And that's the other point here is the agents. So we're looking at if the agents have, well, if there's no other, in some instances there may be places and circumstances where for various reasons there aren't a lot of smaller scale localized value exchanges available, so you'll have to rely on the larger scale value exchanges that are available for that. The problem with all of this is the fundamental problem with all of this is the coercive enterprise governance model has an assumption that human beings should not fundamentally have the right to choose whether they accept the terms of the agreement between them and the quote-unquote state. That is the underlying friction that's at play. And it is the one pivot point with which the psychotics of the world necessarily need you to arrive at the assumption that to give in is to cause yourself to be murdered in the middle of the night by probably somebody vaping and voting for Donald Trump, or if you're the other, voting for Joe Biden or whatever your demons and angels are. That if we give people the power, the absolute power to decide whether they like your service or not, they understand, especially now, that in large part they come up short. They may still have some power because there may still be some services that they actually can offer still, even now, better than any non-coercive enterprise governance model could perform in, especially when it comes to security, when you live in a land of other nation states or other coercive enterprises. So that's a whole other conversation. Anyway, I'm going to end it there. Alrighty, so I'm going to get to the last part, which is the dialectical, and I'm just going to, I think that's down here. Here we go. Here's the dialectical. All right, we're going to get to the dialectical. We're going to do this in, we're just going to get right to this here. Yep, we're going to get right to this. Let's see if we get this done in a timely way. I'm hoping this is like 10 to 15 minutes, so let's hope I stick to it. This is the dialectical for Frico Talks the News on Wednesday, May 13th, 2020. I am Frico with Frico.com. Our dialectical today. Just do this in advance because I know I'm going to have to do something soon. Rescuing local news with complete governance dependence. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Rescuing local news with complete governance dependence. And while we do that, ladies and gentlemen, you will witness as I deftly replace the last song of the day with the new song of the day. And that's how you keep things real, folks. There we go. There's the news poem. And let's just make sure we've got the news poem affixed where I want it to be here. I think we're going to raise you up. Yeah, we'll just let you spill out there because I want to make sure that's behind me. You know what? I think I'm going to play around a little bit with you. I'm going to... Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Here we go. Oh, I gotta have a little bit of a symmetries there. There we go. That's how we're going to play this right now. Yeah. And you know what? Yeah, we're just going to leave you. I'm not going to mess around with me. I'm not going to, my face. This is my face. This is me. You won't like me when I'm angry. Really? Well, what are you going to do? You're going to like freak out and become big, strong, and like destroy the internet? No, I'm just going to complain louder. Oh, okay. That would be annoying. Yeah. My superpower is I complain louder. Ha ha ha! It happened in a freak accident. I was born. All right. That was terrible. Don't ever do that again. All right. As you can see, restricted area, no trespassing, U.S. government property. And in case we're of the other prevailing language in our land today, área restringida. Prohíba la entrada propiedad del gobernero. Ooh, gobernero. So that's how you say. Never mind. I was going to say an F word, but I didn't. Because I'm decent, and I know everybody. You guys love your government. I'm sorry. I apologize. I know. I'm sorry. I'm a decent human being. I don't want to hurt you. I love everyone. Rescuing local news with complete government dependence. Now, I have been involved in publishing since the beginning of the 90s when I was a co-editor, co-publisher, co-creator, and designer of a monthly poetry journal I laid out using glue sticks and blue pencils. This was before Publisher, when all I had was a word processor, which was a major step up from the manual typewriter I started with. I truly was the Siamese.press. Siamese.press, that's me. Still am. After that, I would move on to the neighborhood newspapers that I ran with my identical twin in the late 90s. I started web publishing in 2003 when I ran a weekly digest digital magazine called Freedom Through Autonomous Living. I wrote the website with HTML code, nothing more, no WYSIWYGs for me. I created the magazine in HTML and also created an email version that I shared with my Yahoo News group, which at its peak had around 30,000 members. In the 2000s, I continued publishing neighborhood newspapers with my brother before we finally settled on a county-wide newspaper effort we ran for 7 years. Today, my publishing venture is primarily in Frico.com and a network of newslink sites I run to support this site and, even more importantly, the show Frico Talks the News. It's where I get all the stories, baby. My little intelligence network, such as it is. I tell you all this because I want you to understand something. I understand publishing. I understand local news. I've done almost every aspect of newspapering, from writing articles to proofreading, from covering car crashes to designing ads. I even, for a time, did the bookkeeping. I understand local news, and I have thought about local news for a long time. The model, what works, what doesn't work. Just big time topic in my life. I want to tell you that the narratives now emerging from behind the halls of Citadelia will suggest to you that in order for you to have local news needs to be subsidized by the government. Of course. Our government needs to pass laws forcing social media platforms to pay local news for having their links shared on their platforms. This is the narrative. And what I want to tell you is that these narratives are nothing more than an effort to control information, data flow, the knowing, and the thinking. I thought about how much do I want to write, because there's so much I could say here, and I'll have a lot of things to say through the days and weeks ahead, God willing. I have a lot more to say, so if nothing, this article just serving notice. I got a lot to say about local news, and I am someone, I'm not just, that's one topic. When I talk to you about local news, I know what I'm talking about. Doesn't mean that my interpretations are correct, but I do know what I'm talking about as far as I know the local news circumstance. I know the reality of power involved in local news. And I'll just add this one little thing, just one reality of power within local news. If you don't cooperate with the government, you don't get the stories that your competitors get. Ask me how I know. I'll just start with that. I'll just put that out there. Now you want to, yeah. We're talking about certifications. They want to certify what news is. Legitimate news. That sounds great, right? That'll protect you from that fake news, right? Yeah, I'm not gonna say much more than that. I'm just gonna let this speak for itself. I want you to keep that eye in mind. What they're asking you to surrender, your neighbors to surrender. Think about the advantage that this gives the individual who happens to be the nephew of the individual that gets to choose who this year's new news licensee will be, or won't lose their license even though while this person loses their license even though they didn't really that. More control, more dependence on an increasingly centralized, bureaucratized, top-heavy authority system that has demonstrated no credibility when it comes to telling us what's actually going on. And certainly through coronavirus, I would say that is bigly true. What this on any side, it's just no one knows, but yet no one knows, yet everyone speaks from one week to the next with the same rabid certainty and demand that you respect their certainty. Especially the people with government guns backing their words. Those people are especially thuggish in how they speak to the rest of humanity. The crayon language that they use, the black and white angels and demons narratives that they continue to use based on nothing credible. And it's obvious. It's even obvious to the people that support them. They tell you, listen, man, we just gotta all stick together and just listen to whatever they tell us, because they know they got nothing. If they had something, if they had truth to deliver you to their particular vehicle of power, they would share it. The surest thing you know when people don't have, because sometimes you do, it doesn't mean that your vehicle of power isn't still crappy for other reasons, but sometimes truth is on your side, and when it is, you use it. You always want to use truth when you can. It's always advantageous if you don't have to cover up your lies. Way less money involved in using the truth than in speaking lies, because you got to make a lot of effort to silence a lot of people, the bigger the lie. But when you got truth on your side, you don't say, everyone shut up and listen to our leaders. Because you know that's a losing proposition right from the start. You're telling everyone, I will thug you into my way of thinking and being. And you're in an American land. An American land and a government that derives its authority, ostensibly, from its demonstrated willingness to act within the limitations of the Bill of Rights standards that protect we poors from the mechanisms of advantage and privilege that the Citadelians will always have in any coercive enterprise that you could ever hope to build, no matter your economic theory or your moral theory or your philosophical or political, whatever theory you got, as long as it's coercive enterprise in nature, produces the same fundamental results. Just a lot of different flavors of those results, but it's kind of like many versions of the same tragic rock opera. It's always a rock opera. It's just different chords and makeup. That's it. Excerpt from NeimanLab.org. It's not even an opera. It's a rock opera. It's not even in that varied. It's not even as varied as opera. It's a rock opera. That's what I'm just saying. That's the coercive enterprise governance model. It's incredibly limited in its variations. It really is. And it has been since its creation. A lot of these forms that you think are new, they're just redressed forms that use different justifications for the murder that they necessitate. How will the pandemic panic reshape the local news industry? McClatchy's bankruptcy is barreling to a conclusion. This is from Neiman Journalism Lab. Tribune's quietly trimming its board to prepare for a merger. Google and Facebook face unprecedented calls to pay up on at least 3 continents, and all the while, wait for it, Alden Global Capital's Heath Freeman is joining the fray, demanding money. The crisis both threatens and promises to reshuffle businesses and societal thinking. You mean opportunities for people to use fear and whatnots to cram in the generational changes they hope to do with no regard to the actual reality of power and the needs of the vast majority of human beings. They're just trying to build their own personal vehicles of power where they can cut off more competition. Never mind. Chill out, sir. I told you, this is a very, this cuts to the heart in a lot of ways of who I have been in my life at various times. At one point, editor of a newspaper was one of my fundamental identities for at least a couple years. That was a primary identity for me. So this cuts to the nub. This earth-trembling change has also raised some new possibilities. What if the platforms finally do give in to decade-long pressure to pay publishers for news? Only the approved publishers, ladies and gentlemen, not me. What if governments, in one of the many ways being discussed, actually funneled funding to pay journalists to do local journalism? What if new and more public-spirited? What does that even mean? Public-spirited. This is appeal to morality. Public-spirited is just an appeal to morality. They have a very specific, I'm 99% sure, have a very specific definition of what public-spirited is. The types of, let's just say, ideational constructs that would be approved for sharing with the public in general. So when they say public-spirited, trust me, they mean something very, very narrowly defined. Buyers, owners emerged, buying up papers that only bottom-feeding financial buyers have seen fit to acquire. Most notably, U.S. publishers are also working more quietly but more aggressively to get what they believe has long been due to them. They've appreciated what largesse has been provided by both Google and Facebook in their multi-hundred-million-dollar journalism support programs. And they've recognized the many earnest people inside those companies who aim to offer local news a lifeline, not a lifeline. They're trying to build up standing in that area. And I think local news recognizes that. And they're like, well, we got to take the money, but we hate being in the circumstance where we can't say no. Well, these are businesses that lack not sovereignty. They lack stewardship. They can't steward their own business in the way that they would like to, because Facebook and Google have this near hegemonic control over the ad dollars that they could potentially be getting. This is a fundamental problem. This, by the way, you should go back to my idea a couple of days ago or whenever I did it with the idea of creating a mesh search where you can actually create your own search engines so you can get what you want on these different platforms. You have your own Facebook search, your own YouTube, Google search. Well, not Google, but YouTube search. And you're indexing all of these things, and you produce your own parameters, your own screens, and maybe you can purchase customized versions that other people have created for certain groups that are looking to get certain content, whatever the case might be. And you can even have your own system. They've done variations of this, your own skins over top of whatever, so you can govern your own comments and have your own standards, and basically just take their ad revenue away and take their power to govern the signal away while you still use their platforms. And then after that, you won't need your platforms, because then you have if you look at the OpenBazarr, talked about the volunteer servers. Well, eventually what we're going to be, the internet is basically going to be every home will have its own web video servers, and you won't be uploading videos onto the internet. You'll be uploading videos onto your personal servers, and you'll have capacities and backups and whatever. So if, for instance, you get a lot of traffic on your personal servers regularly, then there'll be things that'll happen for you getting it in there'll be services that'll be provided that will offer you bandwidth or whatever, but it'll be your personal servers. That's the way it'll work. Everyone will be on their own personal servers. It's going to be mesh networks, and it's going to be layers on layers, and you could crack up your internet and decide which internet do you want to be on. Do you want to be on the national SJW approved version? Or I want to be on the national Trumpian approved? Or I want to be on the local Bill of Rights standards one, the local left or right or whatever. It'll be like that. That's what the internet will be like, and the central powers will lose their power to centrally govern the signal. That's the primary thing. This is all about fundamentally being able to centralize, to keep the central control of the signals that are going out. Heaven forfend that they ever lose that power. And I think I'm going to. I know this has more stuff on it that I didn't read from the excerpt, and I just don't care to read any more of this. Read any more of these things. I think that I've shared more than enough. I've gotten the essentials out, and so I can declare victory. Declare victory. As a matter of fact, this is 17 minutes long already, and I was shooting for 11:15. So I think it's fair. It's fair, ladies and gentlemen, for me to declare victory. I made it through the show. And I made it to the end of the segment. So we will have our next set of segments starting tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on the Action Bots YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen. I think that I have earned this, and I'm going to take this. I claim this in the name of Frico. I claim solo second place, and today truly was a challenge. That last story, I can't tell you how I'm still, but I did it. 5 shows, ladies and gentlemen. I'm making you bigger because it needs to be now. It needs to be, because now it's not a world record, but is the second longest streak of not freaking out in all time, ladies and gentlemen. So they ain't no joke. And I think that's how we're gonna turn off the lights and head on out. I thank you all for joining us. I've really enjoyed doing the show today, and all of you that are starting to watch. I am starting to get some more views. Getting some stuff on BitChute. Getting a lot more views on BitChute. I'm getting like 50, 60 views now on BitChute already. So that's good. And I only have 33 subs. D Live has been a dog. And Twitch is giving me 15, 20 views, so we'll see how that works out. I'm not sure what I'm going to do regarding the promotions with the live streaming, but I got to figure something out, because ultimately, I really want to be primarily, that's where I want, hopefully most of you people end up on, is, well, two places. Get that email, give me your email, get on the email list, that's first and foremost. Then secondly, watch the show. And then after that, those that can, those that have the means, so to speak, nobody else. If you don't have the means, don't even sweat it, man. I am happy to provide a free service to as many people as I can. If it's even considered a service. If you consider it a service, then it's a service. But if you are of means, then you say, hey, I'm going to give that dude, I'm going to go ahead and go on to Frico's PayPal and give that man a gazillion dollars. And if you give me a gazillion dollars, I'll tell you this, I will do this show until nobody wants me to do it, basically. Right now, I guess you could say some people, my wife, she's enjoying the show. She wants me to do it. And I have my brother, my identical twin, wants me to continue doing it. So there's two people alone reason for me to continue. So there you go. So gazillion dollars means I could do it. I wouldn't have to worry about it. Like, we're good. I can do this. Alrighty then. With that, I bid you adieu. You guys have a wonderful, cheerful rest of your lovely day. See you tomorrow, same time, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Action Butsa YouTube channel. We'll just say that for now for live stream.
Thank you for engaging with this material presented. As usual, remember your views, your suppositions do not make you subhuman, nor do they permit you to subhumanize others. No humans were harmed in the making of the show, and we extend no wish of harm to anyone who hasn't directly harmed or threatened to harm others first, no matter how reprehensible we find your views.
We will see you in the next Frico Talks, where Frico attempts to talk about news without freaking out.